Because Ember in the ashes and fire. Yeah! Hello everybody, and welcome back to Cuckoo for Books. That was really weird. Today, we will be reviewing a very popular book making the rounds on the book blogging community, and that is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I've been hearing about this book for a really long time. Everybody's been talking about it. It's gonna be made into a film by the guys who made Narnia. Debatable whether or not I'm excited about that because they stopped making the Narnia movies. Are they to be trusted with this book? I don't know. This book was one of those things where I could not put it down. I usually don't believe people when they say they can't put it down. I could not put this one down. I usually juggle 3 books at once, and this time I was like, nope, I'm gonna stick to this. You should start another book. No, I'm gonna stick to this. I wanna know what happens. And it was really a good read. So a quick rundown of the plot summary. It's Game of Thronesy, it's Ancient Rome-y, it's Assassin's Creed-y. I wouldn't know, I've never played that, but I have friends who do. I'm assuming that's what this is like. An Ember in the Ashes takes place in the Marshall Empire. He took over these people called the Scholars, and so the Scholars kind of became their slaves. Our 2 heroes of the novel are Laia, and she's a scholar, and Elias, a marshal. First, I don't know why the author named them Elias and Laia. Elias is a bit too similar. Is that gonna come into play later on in the other books? I don't know. Is it confusing? Yes. Laia the scholar's brother got kidnapped by the marshals because, you know, the typical, we suspect you of working with the rebels. Off to the jail with ya. And so she's like, I have to go save him. Very Katnissy beginning. Laia's story was very much Hunger Gamesy in the sense that her whole story was, I have to go save my brother. Elias's was like very Game of Thronesy. It started off with an execution of a deserter. Ring a bell? Of course it does. Elias is a marshal and he's a graduating student of their military academy. He's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to desert. I'm gonna leave the academy. And then the real Hunger Games starts. Once they graduate, there are these people, these magic Dumbledore-y psychic people called the Augurs, and they're like, the Emperor is dying and he's gonna die without an heir. Now we have to start the trials for the new Emperor, and Elias the Marshal is chosen. And so he's like, well dang it, now I can't desert. I gotta go do this thing because old man Augur says that if I do it, I could win my freedom. So it's 4 people in the trials, and it's these 2 jerk twins, Elias and Helene, his best friend. Woo! I haven't read a book with a male protagonist recently, and I really loved Elias. He was fine. He was a fine man to read about. Strangely enough, I think this is really rare in YA, but he's one of the few YA heroes who is in his 20s. He's my age. He's 20. And usually you see people, I mean, you see love interests in YA who are maybe 20, but most of the time you don't get like a POV of theirs. So I like that. I loved reading Elias' story. I honestly wouldn't have minded if the whole book was from his point of view. I think the biggest in this book is that I did not love both heroes equally. I did not care for Laia. I'm gonna be honest. I wanted to know about Elias and about his time in the military academy and him going through all these, should I desert, should I be emperor? It was so much more intriguing, and his plot was more attractive than Laia's, who was supposed to go undercover to save her brother. And that sounds really cool, but it was mostly her being undercover and not finding anything because she wasn't trained to be an undercover person. And another thing is that she does all of this to save her brother. I feel like we didn't see enough of her brother at the beginning of the book for us to be emotionally attached to the brother, to want to save him. So the whole time she's like, he's my brother, I have to save him. We as the readers weren't close enough to the brother, or we didn't know enough that we were like, yeah, you go save him. Most of the time I was just like, eh. With that, Laia, she's a complicated person. I feel like, I don't know if we saw enough of her character in this first book. What I like about her is that she admits that she's not strong. At the beginning of the book, she's like, I'm so sick of pretending I'm this strong person who can go save my brother. I'm not, I'm weak. And I'm like, yes! She admits that maybe she's not strong enough to save her brother. Maybe she should just walk away, because most of the time we get these strong YA heroines who are like, I must do what is right. And that's great, but it's not that realistic, because I'm gonna be honest, if the only way to save my brother was to go undercover as a slave for one of the toughest people in the world who likes torturing her slaves for fun, I'm gonna think twice. And that's what Laia does, and she's like, I'm weak. And it's like, you know that Tumblr post where they have all these gifs of different YA heroines, and it's like, write strong women, write weak women, write women who don't want a man, write women who love being with a man. And it's, you write diverse women. It's not all about being strong all the time. It's maybe you just want to write about this girl who doesn't know if she can save the world. Maybe she's too weak, and she admits that to herself. And I think that's one of the good things, one of the great things about Laia. I think the most unique things about this book, it's the first book I've read about with a love square. Two love triangles, but they're kind of interconnected. Laia, the girl, Laia the scholar, she has feelings for a fellow rebel named Keenan, but she also has feelings for Elias. And then Elias kind of has feelings towards Laia, but he also has feelings towards Helene. And it's just like, you never see that. I don't know, have you guys ever experienced that, like a love square, love triangle kind of thing? I've never, so that was interesting to see unfold. Now, it's time for spoilery parts. Ending was very exciting. Again, to add to my list of never experiencing this kind of thing in a YA book before, or any book, I've never read a book where the author tries to kill off both protagonists in the first book. And that was brave. There was, the fourth trial was Elias had to kill Laia. You think he succeeds, and you're like, whoa, 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 is she dead? Is that how it's gonna go? And then it's gonna be, I was very excited. I feel bad, but I was really excited because I was like, oh, does this mean we're gonna get a full Elias book now that Laia is dead? And then she turned out to be alive. And then I was like, oh, well, eh. Later on, the author writes that Elias, the guy, is gonna be executed. And you're just like, again? Like, you're gonna kill off again? Really? And then they both live. But it was like, it wasn't one of those things where you seriously were like, well, she's not gonna kill them. The fact that there were two protagonists led you to believe that one of them could possibly die, and it was very believable. How you read sometimes you're like, she's not gonna kill him. In Ember and the Ashes, I fully believe that, yeah, she's gonna kill one of these people. I have no doubt. The ending, well, the ending ends with more of my favorite YA plots. Camping indefinitely, on the run indefinitely. Woo! It's not my favorite thing in the world. It's actually my least. But where else could they go but on the run? One is a slave pretending she's dead, and the other is a soldier. He wants people thinking he's dead. Yeah, no way out of that. It's so good to immerse myself in a new fantasy world. Usually I've been reading sequels or worlds I'm already familiar with, so to be introduced to this whole new world was super cool. It was exciting, it was unique, I had fun reading it. Lots of YA risks that I haven't read before. At the same time, it was very familiar. Like, it's like, ooh, high fantasy, wrap yourself around the comfy blanket of high fantasy. That is it for my An Ember in the Ashes review. I hope you guys like it. Give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on all the things down there. I will see you guys next time. Bye!